It all started on a typical morning at São Vicente Hospital. Nurse Clara was in her usual routine, caring for patients with dedication and attention. It was a morning like any other at São Vicente Hospital. The first rays of sunlight streamed through the high windows, illuminating the silent corridors and the immaculate white walls. Nurses and doctors moved efficiently, their whispering voices creating a soft symphony of care and compassion. The hospital, known for its tranquility and professionalism, seemed a safe haven for those seeking recovery. Among these dedicated professionals was Clara, an experienced nurse known for her attention to detail and care for patients. With her impeccable uniform and welcoming smile, Clara was a constant figure of comfort for everyone. That day, like every other, she walked the corridors with firm steps, ready to face another day of challenges and hopes. Clara began her morning rounds, visiting each of the patients under her care. With delicate hands, she adjusted pillows, checked vital signs, and offered words of encouragement. Her gentle touch and attentive gaze brought immediate relief to the patients, many of whom were battling severe illnesses. Each of her gestures was a demonstration of empathy and dedication. Among the patients was Maria, a young woman admitted weeks earlier after a severe car accident. Maria had been in a coma since then, and her condition was constantly monitored. Clara had a special affection for Maria, always dedicating extra time to adjust the equipment and ensure she was comfortable. Even unconscious, Maria seemed to respond to Clara's meticulous care. That morning, while checking Maria's vital signs, Clara noticed something different. There was a tension in the air that she couldn't explain. Her eyes scanned the patient's body, examining every detail. There was something unusual, something that hadn't been there the previous day. Clara frowned, a sense of unease growing within her. With a deep sigh, she knew she needed to investigate further. Little did Clara know that this simple observation would trigger a series of events that would change everything. Worried about what she had discovered, Clara decided it was time to act. Little did she know that her intuition would lead her to unravel a shocking mystery. Maria lay in her bed, surrounded by machines that monitored each of her vital signs. The rhythmic sounds of the heart monitors filled the room, creating an atmosphere of constant vigilance. Her face was serene, almost as if she were merely sleeping, but the gravity of her condition was evident in the worried expressions of the healthcare professionals around her. Clara entered the room with silent steps, as she did every morning, ready to begin the daily care routine. With careful movements, Clara adjusted Maria's blanket, ensuring she was warm and comfortable. Her experienced fingers checked the electrodes and tubes connected to the patient's body, making sure everything was in order. Clara had developed a meticulous routine with Maria, a process she followed religiously to ensure nothing was overlooked. Every detail, no matter how small, was crucial to Maria's well-being. Even though Maria was in a coma, Clara never stopped talking to her. She believed that in some way, Maria could hear her words and feel her presence. "Good morning, Maria. I'm here to take care of you," Clara would say softly while checking her blood pressure and temperature. She would tell stories about the hospital, about other patients, and even about her own life. It was a way to maintain a human connection, something Clara believed was essential for Maria's recovery. While performing her daily care routine, Clara noticed something that made her pause. There were small marks on Maria's arm, marks that hadn't been there before. Clara frowned, trying to understand the origin of these marks. They looked like small red dots, possibly from bites or something similar. A sense of unease grew within her. She knew that every detail was important, and these marks couldn't be ignored. Determined to understand what was happening, Clara grabbed her clipboard and began to jot down her detailed observations. She knew she needed a second opinion, someone who could confirm her suspicions. With one last worried glance at Maria, Clara hurried out of the room, her thoughts racing. She needed to find the responsible doctor and discuss her findings. The feeling that something was very wrong wouldn't leave her, and Clara was determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. With a heavy heart and a mind full of questions, Clara decides it's time to act. Her next decision will be crucial in unveiling the mystery surrounding Maria. What did Clara discover? Keep watching to find out. Clara left Maria's room with a worried expression, her hands gripping the clipboard tightly. Each step down the corridor seemed to echo the growing unease within her. She quickly made her way to the doctor's office, hoping to find someone who could help her understand those mysterious marks. Her heart was racing, accompanied by the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Upon finding Dr. Almeida, the head of the medical team, Clara explained her observations in detail. "Doctor, I found these strange marks on Maria's arm. They weren't there yesterday and look like bites or punctures," she said, showing her notes and pointing to the affected areas on Maria's body. Dr. Almeida frowned, clearly concerned, and followed Clara back to the patient's room for a closer inspection. In the room, Dr. Almeida examined Maria thoroughly. He touched the marks gently, analyzing every detail. His expression grew more serious with each passing second. "You did well to call me, Clara. These marks are not normal. We need to investigate this immediately," he said, confirming Clara's suspicions. Something strange was happening, and they both knew this discovery couldn't be ignored. Together, Clara and Dr. Almeida went to the hospital administration to report the incident. They explained the situation to the director, who listened attentively and agreed that action was necessary. "We need to involve the authorities. This could be more serious than we thought," said the director, picking up the phone to call the police. The tension in the air was palpable, and everyone knew they were about to uncover something significant. Minutes later, the police arrived at the hospital, their serious expressions reflecting the urgency of the situation. Clara and Dr. Almeida led them to Maria's room, explaining everything they had found. The officers began investigating immediately, examining the patient and collecting evidence. Clara watched with her heart in her mouth, knowing that this morning, which had started like any other, was turning into a day of unexpected revelations. She could hardly imagine the impact her discovery would have on everyone involved. Worried about what she had discovered, Clara decides it's time to act. Little did she know that her intuition would lead her to unravel a shocking mystery. Clara felt a chill run down her spine as she dialed the police number. Her hands trembled slightly, but she knew she needed to act quickly. The situation was more serious than she had imagined, and every second counted. When the dispatcher answered, Clara spoke clearly and urgently. "Hello, this is Nurse Clara from São Vicente Hospital. We have a strange situation with a comatose patient, and we need immediate help." The police dispatcher, sensing the gravity of the case, asked several questions to gather more information. Clara explained about the marks on Maria's body, how they had appeared suddenly, and how they seemed to be signs of something more sinister. "I understand, Nurse Clara. We will send a team immediately. Please stay available for further questions," the dispatcher responded before hanging up. Clara felt a temporary relief, knowing that help was on the way. It didn't take long before the sound of sirens could be heard in the distance. The police team arrived quickly, bringing with them a sense of urgency and authority. Clara and Dr. Almeida met the officers at the hospital entrance, their expressions a mix of concern and determination. "Thank you for coming so quickly," said Clara, leading them to Maria's room. The officers followed closely, ready to investigate every detail. Inside the room, the police began to examine Maria and the surroundings meticulously. They took photos of the marks on her body, collected samples, and checked every corner of the room for clues. One of the officers, a forensic specialist, murmured to his colleague, "This seems to be more than just a case of negligence or an accident. We need to investigate thoroughly." Clara watched anxiously, knowing that every discovery could be crucial in understanding what was happening. While the forensic team worked, Clara and Dr. Almeida spoke with the detective in charge, providing all the information they had. "The patient Maria has been here for weeks. These marks appeared suddenly, and we don't know how or why," explained Dr. Almeida. The detective nodded, taking notes on every detail. "We will need access to all her medical records and any security camera footage that might have captured something," he said. Clara felt a mix of fear and hope. They were closer to uncovering the truth, but what they would find could change everything. With the police involved, the investigation takes a new turn. What will they discover? Keep watching to unravel this mystery with us. The police worked meticulously, their keen eyes examining every detail of Maria's room. The tension in the air was palpable, and Clara watched with a racing heart. Suddenly, one of the officers let out a faint gasp. "I found something," he said, lifting a small device that was carefully hidden among Maria's bedsheets. Clara and Dr. Almeida approached, their eyes wide with surprise. The device, a small bug, looked like an innocent object, but its presence indicated something far more sinister. "This is a listening device," the officer confirmed, inspecting it with a flashlight. "Someone was monitoring this room." The revelation left everyone in shock. Clara felt a chill run down her spine. Who would want to spy on a comatose patient? And why? The detective turned to Clara and Dr. Almeida, their expressions reflecting the gravity of the situation. "We need to find out who placed this here and why. We'll need to question all the staff who had access to this room in the past few weeks," he said with determination. Clara, still processing the discovery, nodded in agreement. The situation was far more complicated than she had imagined. While some officers reviewed the hospital's security footage, others began interrogating the staff. Every detail was crucial. Clara was called to review the recordings with the team. "Here, look at this," one of the officers said, pausing the video at a moment where a suspicious figure was entering Maria's room. The figure was wearing a nurse's uniform, but their face was partially covered. Clara and Dr. Almeida withdrew to an impromptu meeting room to discuss the implications of the discovery with the detective. "This isn't just a privacy violation, it's a security issue," Dr. Almeida said, his voice tense. "We need to ensure that Maria and all our patients are safe." The detective agreed, promising that the investigation would be swift and thorough. Clara felt a mix of fear and relief. They were one step closer to the truth, but what it would reveal was still a mystery. The discovery of the bug took the investigation to a new level. Who was behind this, and what was their motive? Don't miss the next episode, where we'll reveal more details of this intriguing case. With the discovery of the listening device, the investigation took on a new urgency. The police intensified their efforts, interviewing doctors, nurses, and hospital staff. Each person was questioned meticulously about their activities and access to Maria's room. Clara was among the first to be interrogated, detailing her observations and suspicions with precise accuracy. The detective in charge of the case, an experienced man with a keen eye, spent hours analyzing documents and medical records. He was looking for any anomalies or patterns that could indicate who might have a motive to spy on Maria. Every sheet of paper was carefully examined, searching for clues that could connect the device to someone inside or outside the hospital. Clara and Dr. Almeida were called to assist the police team in reviewing security footage. Sitting in a dark room with screens glowing in front of them, they watched hours of recordings, looking for any suspicious behavior. "Here, look at this," said Clara, pausing the video at a point where a hooded figure approached Maria's room at night. The image was blurry, but it clearly showed someone acting furtively. Meanwhile, the police continued to examine Maria's room. One of the officers found a small opening in the wall, hidden behind a bedside table. Inside, there were wires connected to a recording device. "This is bigger than we thought," murmured the officer, calling the detective to inspect the discovery. The complexity of the equipment indicated that it was not the work of an amateur, but of someone with advanced technical knowledge. With the new evidence in hand, Clara, Dr. Almeida, and the detective gathered to discuss the next steps. "Someone was clearly interested in everything happening with Maria," said the detective, staring intently at the diagram of the device found. "We need to find out why. It could be related to the accident that put her in a coma." Clara, though worried, felt a growing determination. "We will find who did this and protect Maria," she asserted, her voice full of conviction. With these new discoveries, the investigation deepens. Who is behind this plot, and what is their true objective? Keep watching to unravel this increasingly intriguing mystery. In the improvised meeting room, the police team, Clara and Dr. Almeida, gathered around a table covered with documents and electronic devices. "We are going to transfer Maria to a secure location where she will be protected until she fully recovers," said the detective, pointing to a map of the hospital. The plan was complex but necessary. The officers detailed each step, from preparing the transport vehicle to coordinating with the medical team at the new facility. Clara felt a mix of relief and tension, knowing that every step needed to be perfect to ensure Maria's safety. Maria's transfer was meticulously planned and executed with military precision. A discreet ambulance, escorted by police vehicles, took Maria to a safe location. Throughout the journey, Clara stayed by Maria's side, holding her hand and whispering words of encouragement. "You will get through this, Maria. "We're doing this for you," she said, trying to calm both the patient and herself. The streets passed quickly as the tension grew. When they finally arrived at the destination, a protected medical facility, Clara helped settle Maria into her new room, feeling they were one step closer to ensuring her safety. At the new facility, Clara and Dr. Almeida met the detective for an update. "We have good news," said the detective, a relieved smile forming on his face. "With the help of the security footage and the new evidence, we have identified and arrested those responsible for the attempt to silence Maria. She is out of immediate danger." Clara felt a wave of relief and gratitude. "Thank you all," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "You saved her life." The detective nodded. Now she can recover in peace, and when she wakes up, she will have the chance to tell her story and ensure justice is served. With Maria safe and the truth revealed, justice is closer than ever. Keep following to see how this incredible story unfolds and to hope for a happy ending. With Maria finally safe and the threats neutralized, San Vicente Hospital returned to its usual tranquility. Clara, watching Maria recover day by day, felt a profound sense of fulfillment. The courage and determination of everyone involved had turned despair into hope. "This is just the beginning of a new journey," Clara thought, with a relieved smile. The police team was welcomed with applause and gratitude, and the community now felt safer and more united. Maria and Clara's story was a powerful reminder that, together, we can overcome any adversity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story of courage and determination, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with friends and family. Until the next adventure.